Welcome back, y'all. Today's video is just going to be me. I'm sorry for those of y'all that come here to see Megan, but today will just be me. I'm going to be working up here in the cornfield today, and to be honest with y'all, I wasn't going to film this, but you know, I know a lot of the people who follow our channel like to watch tractors work. They like to watch the old tractors work, and so I said, you know what, I'm missing a good opportunity here to share with a lot of our viewers a lot of good tractor work today. So what I'm doing is, this is the cornfield that y'all watched us pick a couple videos ago, where I guess it might have been the last video. And what I'm doing is something that I told y'all back in the spring that I never done, and that's turning land. So I have a bigger plow to go behind my big tractor, but sometimes I just like to use the old stuff and do it this way. And it's fun plowing with this old 140 here. But I had never used these two bottom plows right here behind this 140 until now. So it actually plows way better than I ever expected it to. But anyways, the reason I'm turning this field is because I have disked over it, and I still have so much stuff on top of the ground that the discs are just not chopping up, that I just want to turn it all under so I can have me a fresh, clean slate of dirt here to sow my cover crop onto. And so what today is going to consist of is turning the field, going back over it with a disc, slinging out seed, then disking in that seed, and then running over the whole field with a cultipacker. Now I will also say that another reason I'm turning this here is because y'all saw just how bad of weeds we had in this field this year. So I'm wanting to try something here. I'm thinking that by turning this land, it's going to cover those seeds so deep that maybe next year I don't have quite the problem that I had this year. That's just a thought here. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I really want to try it. So I may be messing my field up by turning it, because I haven't turned this field now in about 3 years. But I'm going to do it anyways, because I just want to see what's going to happen. And this is also going to give me a lot cleaner slate to plant my cover crop into. So yeah, for those of y'all that don't know, what I'm going to be turning it with here is my 140 Farmall. You know, these are gas, about a 30-some horsepower tractor, and I'm pulling a two bottom, I believe they're 14-inch plows here, and I'm just going to be working my way out. So I'm throwing that downhill and I'm throwing this uphill. And then when I meet in the middle, I'll sort of have like a ditch where I meet at, and when I disc back over it, it'll kind of help fill that back in. But anyways, I'm just going to set the camera up and let it watch this old tractor work here, and we'll see how the day goes. Boy, you can tell it when I hit this nasty red clay out here on this end of the field. That stuff's hard as a rock. But it's just in this section right here. The rest from about where the shadow is on is more of a gray, more of like a brownish, loamy type soil. gotta say the old 140 performed like a champ. It was very time consuming though. I'm gonna tell you, I'm used to plowing with a 3-bottom plow, and going from that down to the 140 with a 2-bottom plow, I way underestimated how long this was gonna take. I mean, way underestimated it. It ended up taking over an hour longer than what I was expecting. But it's done. The old points, they shined up pretty good. They look good. I'm gonna have to replace these though. Those are getting wore down pretty good. But after plowing it here and seeing, so once I flipped that dirt over, I realized underneath it's still pretty wet. So instead of disking over this today, I'm gonna let it lay for a few days and let it dry out some, so I don't create a whole lot of clods and stuff like that. And then we'll come back and disc it and plant it. But I am just blown away by how well that 140 performed out there. I mean, it done so good, and I think it does a tractor a lot of good to work it hard like that. And pulling plows like these right here, bottom plows, they will work a tractor. And when you get done, like right now, to me that thing is purring so much smoother than what it was before I started this. I mean, it sounds so good. You know, it worked hard out there today. It really did. But you can always just hear it in the engine, like it runs so much smoother when you get done plowing like this right here. But anyways, we'll be back in a few days. We'll get this planted. Y'all, it's been about a week now since I turned this field, and I'm getting ready to disc it all and get it ready to plant. And I've got my 3-point disc here, and I'm gonna be dragging this drag right here behind me to help smooth everything up. And this is just basically a power pole that I cut up, and you know, I've got it tied to the disc there to drag everything down and make a really nice smooth finish on it all. And I'm gonna tell you what, y'all, in this week's time, it has really dried up a lot. We've went now 2-3 weeks now without rain. We hadn't had any rain since the hurricane came through, so it's getting pretty dry. And I am amazed at how much this has dried up here. I'm hoping though that it still works good and everything goes good, but we still at this point have absolutely no rain in the forecast. For the next 10 days, there is nothing but beautiful sunny weather, which I don't really want to complain about, because, you know, who can complain about sunny and 75? Either way, I'm gonna get this field cut up and see how well this works out for me. show y'all just how much of a difference the land itself can make. This spot right here is nothing but red clay. And you could see where it was broke wet. Now I've got nothing but just chunks of clods. But the rest of the field is just fine. Now I haven't dissed over this yet. But look at the difference in the field right here. Just a few feet away from that section of red land. Now it still's got clods in it. But look at this. Totally different type of soil. This soil right here grows so much better than that spot right there does. But all the way across the top of that field is somewhat like some red clay, but this very end right here is the worst. Now the rest of this field is a lot like what's right here in the middle, and it should actually tear up just fine. Bottom half of this field's worked up pretty good here. You can see behind me, I don't really have much clods at all. It worked up nice. You know, we have little clods like that, but for the most part, this is nice. But I'm gonna tell you what, I got a strip right down the middle there that is nothing but clods. It is awful. I mean, awful. So I'm still gonna go ahead and plant this, even though these clods didn't bust up no better than this. I'm running back over this again, but you can see behind me here just how bad the clods really are. This is bad right here. But then the top side of the field has done good as well. So I've got a strip in the middle that's bad, And I got a piece right there on the top corner that's bad. It just goes to show you, if you don't work red clay when it's the right moisture content, you might as well forget it. You've got a mess on your hands, just like this right here. If I was going to plant an actual, like my corn crop or something in this wouldn't work. It would never work. But being that I'm just planting a cover crop in it, it should be okay. I think it'll be all right anyways. Like, I'm gonna say that over the winter, with the freeze and the thaws and the rainfall and everything else, what clods is in here should break down and loosen up, and by next spring it'll be good and be ready to plant. I mean, it'll work up good then too. So we'll see. Next spring will tell us how that goes. But I'm going to get this cut over one more time. Then I'm going to go get my other tractor with the seed sower on it and get the seed spread out over this field. Well, I'm going to show you how quick plans can change. I got a disc right here that's broke out of the center. And then, you see this? Won't nothing turn? One of these bearings here, either this one, that one, or that one, has locked up. And I can't turn nothing. So, I'm guessing since that bearing was locking up, all this has come loose here. So I'm going to have to tear into this and replace one of these bearings here. My original plan was to disc over this. I'm not done with the second pass for the disc yet. So my plan was, just like I always do, I was going to get it disced up and then go back over it with the disc after I've slung the seed out. Well, that's not going to be the case this time. Looks like I'm going to have to come up with a new way of covering those seed up. So what I think I'm going to do is go back home, unhook my disc, and I think I'll end up hooking up to my spring tooth plows, and I'll pull them after I get done slinging the seed out. We'll see how that works. Maybe that don't cover the seed up too deep. So I'm back up here with the other tractor and the seed slinger, and I'll show you. I've got my raised crazy mix here that y'all seen in the last video. Then I've also got a 50-pound bag of crimson clover seed that I'm going to sling out over the whole thing after I get this right here out. But if y'all don't remember, this right here's got Austrian winter pea in it, triticale, some crimson clover, and there's something else in there, some type of winter oat, I think is what it was. And then, like I said, I'm going back over it all with another 50-pound bag of crimson clover. So hopefully, if Mother Nature will be good to us, we're going to have us a really nice looking cover crop on this field right here. I do expect some of it to go ahead and come up now where there is still some moisture in the ground, but it's not going to really come up great until we get some rain. So maybe we'll get another one of these pop-up showers that just comes out of nowhere, like it seems like every other rainstorm we've had lately has done. Once again, like I said, there's no rain in the near future, so we'll see. But anyways, it'll at least be out there waiting on the rain to come. But I'm going to get it slung out now and see how this all goes for us. I was just thinking about it. Same thing happened to me last year. It turned dry on me when we started planting our cover crops, and it never rained till like way on up in November. And we never really got a good stand on our cover crop last year because of that. And it's looking like it's going to be the same way this year too. It's kind of crazy how we can go from getting so much rain to go getting no rain, and then back to getting all the rain and then no rain again. And it's just interesting how that works. But there is enough moisture in this ground that I think a lot of it will go ahead and sprout, but it's not going to all come up till they get some water on it. But now I'm going to sling out the crimson clover. And in case I forgot to say, I ended up putting two 50-pound bags of the raised crazy mix on this field, and there's your crimson clover. Y'all have heard me say plenty of times before, this is only roughly about an acre, maybe just a little bit over an acre field. In the perfect scenario, that 50-pound bag of crimson clover would go way more than an acre, but I want my stuff thick, so that's why I put out more seed than what you're supposed to. Right here is what I'm going to be using to scratch the seed in. Now, me personally, I've never used nothing like this to scratch the seed in. However, it should work. I'm just going to bury it to where the shanks are just barely scratching the ground, and then the drag will be behind me, smoothing it all up to hopefully take out the tracks from my tractor when I was slinging the seed. Like I said, I don't know how well this is going to work, but if I want to get it done this evening, this is pretty much my only other option, being that my discs are broke now. So I think it's going to work just fine, but we'll find out. flat out got a mess right here in this part of the field. I'll be interested in seeing if that right there even comes up. I mean, look at this. Y'all see how big that clod is? And that thing is hard as a rock. So it'll be interesting to seeing just how well this patch of red clay right here comes up, because turning that when it was wet was a mistake on my part for sure. But the rest of the field, other than this end, is looking pretty good. Out through there, y'all see how smooth that's ended up finishing out there. So let's hope the rest of the field goes just as good. I think using these things right here may work out to be possibly better than the disc, because it looks like it's covering up where I'm just barely scratching the ground. It looks like it's just covering enough dirt over that seed. The only thing I'm worried about is the crimson clover seed, because that is a smaller seed and it could possibly be just a little bit too deep for that seed there. But you know, time will tell. We'll find out and see how well that actually comes up and germinates. But you know, you live and you learn, and you don't know how well something works till you try it. Well, I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but it's just about dark, so I guess that's gonna be quitting time for me. I've got one other field I've got to plant like this, but I'd say that this worked out pretty good. That drag behind those plows it's just a game changer when it comes to working land and trying to finish land. If you've got a set of disc or a set of plows like that and you want to get that field smooth, put you a big heavy drag behind it, and that's just a total game changer when it comes to finishing land. But y'all, if you've stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. I'm so glad y'all watched, and I promise you Megan will be back in the next one. It's not always going to be just me boring you with the tractor work, but there was so much tractor work going on here, I just couldn't resist but to share it with all of y'all. So I sure do appreciate you watching, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. And keep your fingers crossed for me that we get us a good shower of rain and all this comes up just like it's supposed to. But we'll see y'all on the next one. Have a good one.